Hey, FinTech homies. Welcome to the channel where we, try to make all this money stuff make sense.
Yeah.
We're going to break it all down, and I'm here with my expert
Hello.
who's going to, help us figure all this out.
Yeah.
So today we are diving into this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes, we are.
Chapter 1, the beginning, the foundation.
Uh-huh.
We're going to, just get into some of the big ideas, why your house might not actually be an asset, for example.
Oh, spicy?
Like, whoa, what? And how rich people, how do they think about money? Because it's different.
It really
If
is.
you're just starting out on this whole financial journey, don't worry. This deep dive is for you.
This is the foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. So the book kicks off and the author's talking about, he had these two dads, right?
Yeah.
One rich, one poor.
Classic setup.
Classic setup.
Two dads, two perspectives.
Yeah. And that really shaped his whole view on money and success. So, I mean, the rich dad, right, he didn't even finish school, but he built this whole business empire.
Right. Which is wild if you think about what we're told, right, about education.
Yeah.
It kind of throws that out the window.
Yeah, and the poor dad, he had a PhD, but struggled with money his whole life.
It's really interesting.
That's kind of what's whoa, what's going on here?
Exactly. It shows that there are multiple paths to success.
So a fancy degree doesn't automatically equal financial success.
Well, and that's one of the big points the book makes, right? Traditional education, it doesn't really set us up to win with money.
Yeah, true. I don't remember learning about budgeting or investing in school.
No.
Not at all.
Most of us, we learn about money from our parents, right? And that could be good or bad.
Yeah.
It can be helpful, or it could set you up for struggle.
And it's hard to break out of that cycle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so let's dive into these philosophies of the rich dad versus the poor dad. What were some of the biggest differences?
Well, let's start with risk, right? Because the poor dad was all about avoiding risk, playing it safe.
Yeah, don't rock the boat.
Right, exactly. But the rich dad was you got to understand risk. You manage it. And he saw those calculated risks as stepping stones to building wealth.
So one was about just avoiding it altogether, and then the other was no, you use risk, but smartly.
Right. It's about being informed.
Okay, interesting.
And that brings us to another difference, their views on houses.
Okay.
Because the poor dad, like a lot of people, thought that a house is your biggest investment.
Right.
But the rich dad was no, a house is a liability.
Wait, hold on. How can a house be a liability? It's it goes up in value, right?
That's the traditional thinking. But the rich dad, he was all about cash flow. So a house, right, you've got your mortgage payments,
Yeah.
property taxes,
Right.
maintenance, all this stuff. It's taking money out of your pocket.
Okay.
It's only an asset if it's putting money in, if you're renting it out.
I see.
Or maybe if it goes up in value a ton and you sell it for a huge profit.
So it's not just about owning it. It's what's it doing to your bank account.
Exactly. Exactly.
Interesting.
And that leads us to another big difference. Financial dependence.
Okay.
The poor dad, he relied on his job and, maybe the government for security.
Yeah.
But the rich dad, he was all about financial independence, building multiple income streams.
Yeah.
So you weren't relying on just one thing.
Right. Because what if you lose your job?
Right.
Then you're kind of stuck.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's about having options.
Options, control.
Control. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing how just your mindset can make such a difference in how you do with money.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about how much you make, it's how you think about it,
Right.
right? And that brings us to one of the core messages of this book.
Okay.
The poor and middle class, they work for money.
Right.
But the rich have money working for them.
Okay, that's a big one. But how do you actually flip that?
Well, you got to understand assets and liabilities, right?
Okay.
And remember, assets put money in your pocket.
Yeah.
Liabilities take money out.
Okay, so so a house could be an asset if you're renting it, but if you're living in it and paying the mortgage, it's a liability.
Exactly. Exactly. It's all about the cash flow.
Gotcha.
And that's where this idea of minding your own business comes in.
What does that even mean? Minding your own business?
It means building your asset column, right?
Okay.
Creating income streams that aren't tied to your job.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Like rental properties.
Okay.
Investments.
Okay.
Maybe you've got a side hustle that brings in some passive income.
So it's not just about starting a business. it's about having things that are working for you, making money
Mm.
without you having to like constantly work at it.
Yeah, exactly. Like building a system, right?
Unit system. Okay.
Huh.
That's how you escape the rat race, right? That
Yeah,
that whole cycle of working, paying bills and never getting ahead.
exactly.
But how do you even start building that asset column if you don't have a ton of money?
It doesn't have to be about having a lot of money up front, right? It's about
Yeah.
taking small steps consistently.
Okay.
Keep your job for the steady income.
Okay, so you got that base.
But start exploring,
Right.
Start looking for opportunities to build those assets.
Well, where? Where do you look?
Well, think about what you're good at, what you enjoy, right?
Right.
Like maybe you love fixing up things. You could flip houses.
Okay.
Or if you're techie, maybe you start an online business.
Okay.
The key is to use your skills to create something that generates income.
So it's not just like one formula. It's
Yeah.
it's finding what works for you.
Right. Building wealth, it's a
Mhm.
journey.
Yeah.
Be open to learning. Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
So it's okay to mess up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Our rich dad, he actually thought failures were good. Like you learn from them.
Right.
Then you adjust. You get better.
So it's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent.
Yeah. And being willing to learn along the way.
This is like changing my whole view on this.
Good.
Okay. So then he talks about mastering a formula, right?
Right.
What does that mean?
It means like getting really good at something
Yeah.
that makes money.
Right.
So maybe that's real estate or the stock market. Maybe you build a really successful business model.
Okay.
Find something that works for you and become an expert.
So it's like find your niche.
Yeah.
Yeah, become the master of that thing.
Exactly. And then once you've mastered that, you can branch out,
Okay.
It's all about constantly learning and growing.
It's like leveling up in a video game.
I like that analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, you get new skills, you get new knowledge,
Mm.
and then you can take on bigger challenges.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that brings us to one of the most important things you can do right now.
Okay. What's that?
Pay yourself first.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that before. What does that actually mean? How do you do it?
Okay, it's simple.
Okay.
Before you pay any bills, before you buy anything, set aside some money for your asset column.
So you're making yourself the priority.
Exactly. You're investing in your future before anything else.
Okay. And it doesn't have to be like a huge amount of money, right?
No, it can be small, but it's about being consistent.
Okay.
The key is building that habit of investing in yourself.
I love that. It's about taking control.
Control, yeah.
It's about making that choice to build your own financial freedom.
Exactly. That's the rich dad mindset.
This pay yourself first thing, it's really sticking with me.
It's powerful, right?
Yeah, like just changing how you think about where your money goes first.
Exactly. But Rich Dad Poor Dad also talks about some roadblocks, right?
Roadblocks, like things that can trip you up.
Yeah, things that can stop you from being successful with money.
Okay.
Even if you get all the big ideas.
Like what kinds of things?
Well, we talked about fear, right?
Right, yeah. Like being afraid of not having enough.
Yeah, or that cynicism.
Oh, yeah, that whole like wealth is only for other people, not for me.
Yeah. Those are big ones.
Yeah.
But there's a few more. Laziness is a big one.
Oh, okay.
And it's not just like physical laziness.
Right?
It's mental laziness too.
Like not wanting to learn about this stuff.
Right, or putting off like making a budget or figuring out how to invest because it seems too hard.
Yeah, or like I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. It's that procrastination
Well,
that can really cost you.
right.
Rich Dad, he was big on being proactive. Like you got to take control.
Yeah, it's not going to just like magically happen.
Right, yeah. You got to put in the effort.
You got to put in the work.
And that leads to another roadblock. Bad habits.
Ooh, bad habits. I think we all got those.
Yeah.
What are some financial bad habits?
Well, overspending.
Oh, yeah.
Spending more than you make, racking up the credit card debt,
Hmm.
or impulse buying.
Mhm.
Just buying stuff without thinking about like your budget or your goals.
Yeah, I've definitely been there. It's so easy to just like buy something in the moment,
Oh, yeah.
and then later you're like, why did I do that?
Exactly. It's about like being aware of those habits and finding ways to break them.
Oh, okay.
Like make a budget, track your spending, maybe set some limits for yourself.
So you don't go too crazy.
Right, exactly. You got to be intentional.
Yeah. Okay, so then what was the last one?
Arrogance.
Arrogance. How's that a problem?
Well, it's thinking you know it all, right?
Yeah.
Refusing to learn from others, ignoring good advice.
Oh, yeah.
Arrogance can make you miss out on opportunities.
Because you think you already know everything.
Right. You're not open to new ideas.
Okay, so humility is important.
Yeah, you got to be willing to learn. Admit when you don't know something.
And be open to help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Rich Dad, he believed in always learning. Like surround yourself with smart people, find mentors.
Okay.
Keep growing your knowledge.
So it's not just about the numbers and the strategies, it's also about you.
Yes, it's about your mindset. It's about personal growth.
Okay, wow, we've covered a lot here. We talked about the rich dad, poor dad, philosophies, assets, liabilities,
Mm-hmm.
minding your own business, paying yourself first.
Yeah, and all those roadblocks.
Yeah, all those roadblocks. But I think the biggest takeaway is that anyone can achieve financial freedom
Right, if you're willing to work for it.
if you're willing to change your mindset,
Yeah, adopt that rich dad mindset.
overcome those things that are holding you back.
It's a journey, right?
Yeah, it's not a sprint. FinTech homies, this has been an amazing deep dive into chapter 1 of Rich Dad Poor Dad.
It's a great book.
I'm feeling inspired. I'm ready to take control.
Good, good.
There's so much more to learn.
Yeah, we've only just scratched the surface.
Right. So if you're ready to keep learning with us, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with anyone who wants to get their finances in order.
We're here to help you on your journey.
Absolutely. Until next time, FinTech homies, keep learning, keep growing, and keep that money flowing.
See you next time.